On Juneteenth, a day that marks the end of slavery at 1 p.m., many young people took to the streets of Newton for an infinity march. They marched to break the infinite chain of injustice and oppression many families are affected by in order to make the dreams of their ancestors a reality. For 155 years, Black Americans have celebrated Juneteenth, short for June 19th, the holiday that marks the end of slavery in the United States. But this year, the holiday has gained more attention than usual. The Emancipation Proclamation, which was signed on January 1, 1863, by President Abraham Lincoln, demanded that all slaves being held in the seceded states are freed. However, it took over 2 years for slavery to be completely abolished. While this marks the end of slavery for African Americans in the United States, the fight against racial disparity and discrimination persists.
Juneteenth is a celebration of when the freedom of slaves had reached, the news of the freedom of slaves had reached Texas.
A group of Newton North graduates organized an Infinity March for June 19th to commemorate the holiday, to call for racial justice, and to spread awareness about ignorance through education.
Because it starts with the youth, you know?
The students, along with their friends, families, teachers, and neighbors, began their march at Boston College, chanting and waving their signs. They recognized George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and the countless others who have fallen victim to police brutality.
Our whole project started with a conversation saying we needed a change, and how are we going to change? We don't see those above us doing something, therefore we say we'll do it. We're going to be the change.
When they arrived at Newton North High School's football field, the first thing they did was stop for a moment of silence. The moment lasted 8 minutes and 46 seconds, memorializing George Floyd, who was killed just weeks ago after a Minneapolis police officer held his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck for just as long. Then the speeches began. The first speaker of the day spoke passionately to the crowd.
Rise up today. Rise up and continue to move forward. Onward to justice. Onward to freedom. Onward to liberation. And we shall overcome.
Each speaker shared their own unique experiences with discrimination and ignorance.
I may be hurt, but I'm not damaged. I refuse to stand down. Every day I ask myself, what will I do? What am I going to do? And I urge you to ask yourself those same questions.
Oftentimes, children don't fully understand the weight behind the things that they say, which can sometimes be offensive and hurtful. When I was in first grade, I invited someone who I thought was my friend to my family's annual cookout. Her response was she couldn't go because my dad was black and her dad didn't like black people. This was my first negative experience with race, and I was only 6 years old. She hurt my feelings by saying this. She made me angry by saying this. She made me question the safety of my white friendships by saying this. Think about how many other black and brown 6-year-olds are having their feelings hurt, becoming angry, or questioning their friendships right now. This must stop.
And they shared their own messages on how to combat it.
Are you uncomfortable being addressed this way? Well, this isn't a space for our comfort. For white people, it is so easy to use our privilege to ignore and continue life as usual. It's time to add your voice to the rising cry for justice. White people, you too, are exposed to racism every day. The difference is that you are benefiting while others are being oppressed, brutalized, victimized, and villainized. It's time to notice.
One of the ways they suggest, however, is to start at the educational system.
If the school system wants to make a difference, they will better enforce the restorative justice that follows a racist incident to help students understand their wrongdoings. For so long, adults have asked us what to do, but have never listened to us. Look around. This march shows that we are young adults. We, as young adults, have the capability to make a change. And we want to see the school system make a change by giving us a seat at the table.
When you walk into your history class and English class, do you want to feel angry? If you are a student ready to create change, raise your fist. Now keep it and look around.
One Newton North graduate, Akili Van Ricka, explained his frustration with the Newton Public Schools' environment and their responses to racism.
I'm here because Black Lives Matter. I'm here because I went to this institution and I experienced unchecked racism.
Peter Goddard, an English and Leadership in a Diverse Society teacher at Newton North High School, was evidently proud of his students.
So to see these young people speak their truths, to kind of speak truth to power, to kind of advocate for change that they want in their school is a wonderful thing. It's what we hope the course does, and my heart is full seeing them doing what they were doing today.
Though the Leadership in a Diverse Society class has become more proactive in combating racism and discrimination now, the class has been available for a long time.
The course has been around since 1996. I started teaching it in, I believe, 99, 2000 or 2001 till today. So this is my 20th or 21st year going into teaching the course. The course was actually made in response to some racial incidents in the 90s that occurred. And in many ways, we incorporated an each one, teach one kind of model. All these kids are culled from different spheres of influence. And then we kind of give them a curriculum of empowerment and social justice, and the whole idea is they go back to where they are and kind of spread that kind of message. And so far it's been going pretty well with that. Definitely things like white supremacy and oppression are hard to untangle in even just 20 years, but we do feel the course has had a positive role in the school. We just wish that we could get more kids in it, and we could even do things with younger. Right now it's just juniors and seniors, so they kind of get all this great stuff and then they graduate. But as you can see, even today, with these kids graduating, I feel like something is going to be sustained after they leave. They've left a real legacy today.
Superintendent David Fleischman also commented on the learning environment in the Newton Public Schools, as well as the continued efforts to teach Black American history and to promote the acceptance of racial differences.
Our teachers will be working on curriculum. They'll be working to think about how to bring students back to school, talking about race. We don't want this to be just, a month-long discussion. This needs to be real work. We need to hear the voices of students. I think our teachers are passionate and skilled and committed, and now we have a job to do.
On this historical day that marked the end of slavery in America, we will start here. In Newton. Let's create a better community, not for some, but for all. A freedom zone. I call to the school committee, mayors, administration, and educators. I'm calling for reconstruction of the educational system when dealing with issues of race and ethnicity.
For those who couldn't make it to the march, the organizers made it easy for participants to still help make a difference. They chose Boston Uncornered as their charity to raise money for. According to uncornered.org, Boston Uncornered redirects the entrepreneurial, networking, and leadership skills of gang-involved youth. From violence and incarceration to obtain a college credential and family-sustaining wage, driving positive change in our neighborhoods. Maxine Friedman, Newton News, Newtonville.